All right, Saturday night, live in San Diego, we saw a fantastic night of fights at the Pechanga Arena. Dominick Cruz taking on Marlon Chito Vera, and oh my God, what a fight. Coming into that fight, Dominick Cruz, one of the greatest bantamweights of all time, if not the greatest, and certainly a future Hall of Famer without question. He came into this one looking unbelievable. Marlon Chito Vera is a dangerous guy. He can take a shot. He's very confident. The man is extremely violent inside the octagon. But Dominick Cruz, the dominator, was dominating the fights. He went out there and he just looked, as I say, he looked absolutely unstoppable. He was so fast. The footwork, which of course Dominick is known for, I mean, he was on fire. The feet was all over the place. He was in, he was out, he was throwing leg kicks, he was hurting him with leg kicks, coming forward with 4, 5, 6 punches and then getting away. They say as you get older, you start to slow down. That certainly wasn't the case from what I saw from Dominick Cruz. Now, Chito Vera, we know. Chito is the man, right? I know Chito, we have the same coach in Jason Perillo, but I'm also friends with Dominick Cruz as well. And there was a lot of people saying, no, you were biased in your commentary. No, I fucking wasn't. I said when Cruz was doing well, and I fucking got excited when Vera delivered a sensational knockout, because you don't see Dominick Cruz getting knocked out. Anyway, back to the fight. Cruz was in and out, and I thought he was looking fantastic. Listen, at 37 years old, people are starting to question, you know, maybe are his best days behind him, because as you get older in the bantamweight division, in divisions that rely on speed, as you get older, the speed diminishes a little bit. Well, that was not diminished. The speed was on fine form. I'm telling you, he was all over the place. The punches were fast, the kicks were fast. The footwork was fast, his mind was fast, he was going a million miles an hour. Dominick Cruz came into that one fired up, looking to do damage, and he got off to a tremendous start. As I said a moment ago, Chito's known for kind of having a slow start. He kind of takes his time, he reads his opponents, he tries to cut the cage off for Dominick Cruz, tried to back him up against the fence, and often he would do that, but Cruz, you know, the zigzag, side-to-side movement that he does, the frustration that he gives to people when he moves all over the place, he was able to get away out of harm's way. He was able to get away from the fence. When Chito would corral him up against the fence, he would use the footwork and escape, and then he would go back to doing what he was doing. As I say, Cruz looked really good. On the flip side, Chito never really looked concerned or bothered, and he did go down, in my opinion, the first couple of rounds, you know, just simply based on the fact that Cruz was so active. Now, when it comes to damage, which by the way is the #1 scoring criteria when it comes to scoring a fight, this doesn't matter because it didn't go to the judges, but still a little bit of education for you. Damage, duration, and dominance. They're the 3 Ds that they take into the equation when they score a fight. Damage is the #1 thing. And Vera was doing damage. It seemed like every time he connected, he would almost drop Dominick Cruz, okay? There was once a jab, there was a right hook, there was a double jab right hand. He made Cruz hit the octagon a few times, but Cruz, being the man that he is, being the fighter that he is, being the legend that he is, would bounce straight back to his feet. So rounds 1 and 2, you know, Cruz got dropped, but I still give them to Dominick Cruz. This isn't boxing. Okay, in boxing, it's an automatic win for the other guy. It doesn't matter. Mixed martial arts is different. I still give those opening rounds to Cruz. Round 3, very, very close as well. I'm not sure who I'd give that one to. I was there to call the fights, not to score them. But round 4, oh my God. See, one of the things is that Cruz does, and I'm not being critical, it's just a fact, and it's an opening that Chito Vera was able to exploit, is that often when Cruz comes in, he'll dip over to one side and he'll throw shots kind of like this. He kind of dips his head and throws these big looping shots, and he's got away with it. And if you back someone up against the fence, they're going to go left or they're going to go right. They don't want to stand there against the fence, because certainly against a power striker like Chito Vera, if you're backed up against the fence, obviously you can't go backwards. So you can only go left or right, or you got to stand there and go toe to toe with a guy that's got more firepower than you. So you got to know, you got to predict, he's going to leave. And predominantly Cruz was going out to the right. So Chito Vera saw that. At the end of round 3, Perillo said to him, look, now's the time. Now's to throw that kick, throw some bombs, look for the knockout. And in fact, during the training camp, Perillo actually sent Chito Vera a picture of him like dipping down to one side. And Vera said at the post-fight press conference, he told that story and said, look, listen, I knew straight away what he meant. And that's what he did. And that is how he set up that knockout. Listen, I take no satisfaction in saying this. Dominick Cruz is a great guy. I have so much respect for him. What he's achieved in the octagon, the resilience that he's shown, fighting through adversity, coming back from injuries for so long. It's really amazing what he's achieved. But Saturday night, there was only one winner, and that was Chito Vera. What a fucking head kick. And it was shocking because we don't see that from Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz now has been knocked out twice in a record that is very, very good. Let me just have a quick look here. So Cruz's record is 24 wins with 4 losses, 7 knockouts, 1 submission. In terms of the losses, he's only had 2. Obviously, one of them was Saturday night to Marlon Vera. The other one was Henry Cejudo. Okay, when he fought Henry Cejudo, he was stopped in round 2. That one was a little less different. It was a little more different, should I say, because, he complained. He said that Keith Peterson stunk of cigarettes and alcohol. Cruz was getting right back to his feet. But there was no doubting Saturday night what Chito Vera did. When he hit that head kick and he put him down, and, I didn't take any satisfaction from seeing that. I love a good knockout. I love the excitement that it delivers. I love how it gets everyone in the stadium on their feet, losing their goddamn minds. I appreciate that. But I take no appreciation from seeing somebody, a fighter, a friend, a colleague, hitting the canvas face down. Now, a lot of people on Twitter are talking a lot of shit. A lot of people said, oh, Bisping, you were celebrated. No, I wasn't celebrated. I was out of my fucking chair. It was a huge knockout. It was a mind-blowing experience. I'm not used to seeing Dominic get knocked out like that. So I was out of my seat. When I commentated the Contender Series a week before, I was out of my seat half the night because that's what I do. I'm passionate about the sport. And when I see a wild knockout, I get charged with adrenaline and I jump out of my seat and things like that. Somebody posted a picture of me doing that with my hands as if to say I was celebrated. But if you watch it a second later, those hands were there. Do you know what I mean? Like commiserations. Do you know what I mean? So fuck you, Twitter dickheads. But still, Marlon Chito Vera, this man is on absolute fire. Dominick Cruz, rest up. A lot of people are going to say, where does Dominick Cruz go now? And the reality is Cruz can do whatever he wants. Now, there's a little stat here. I took a picture of it. Hold on. People say Dominick Cruz hasn't been knocked down in his first 23 fights as a professional, but now he's been dropped 7 times in his last 5 fights. 7 times in his last 5 fights. So you could argue that there's a narrative being painted there that perhaps Father Time, who's undefeated, is catching up with Dominick Cruz at 37 years old. And maybe that's true. But so what? So what? Dominick Cruz will live to fight another day. And Dominick Cruz will fight another day. There's no way he's going to go out like that. There's no way he's going to go down to San Diego, his hometown, get stopped in front of his fans and then hang up the gloves like that. No way. That is not the Dominick Cruz I know. I know for a fact he will be back bigger, better, stronger, and more determined than ever. And I look forward to it. But let's talk about Chito Vera. This man's on an absolute roll now, and you got to think that Chito Vera is closing in on a title fight pretty soon. Problem is, bantamweight division, there's a lot of stuff going on. Sugar Sean O'Malley, who Chito has a win over. Sugar Sean O'Malley's fighting Piotr Jan. Aljamain Sterling is fighting TJ Dillashaw. And there's a few other big matches. Merab Dvalishvili's fighting Jose Aldo. So there's lots of big fights booked up. But as Chito Vera said, he said it leading up to the fight. He said, we got all these big fights. We got all these potential contenders for the belt. But it's who's going to make the biggest noise? Who's going to make the biggest splash? And I got to say, and I don't like saying it, but no one made a bigger splash. And I find it hard to be topped than Chito Vera going out there and throwing a head kick and knocking out Dominick Cruz in round 4. I mean, that was something sensational. It really was. And that is the hard part about this sport, especially when you know both people. It's the thrill and the agony, as the UFC call it. On one side, Chito Vera and his family and his team and everyone. The Ecuadorians are all losing their goddamn mind. And then the other side, Cruz is just, he's lost in front of his hometown. I think he's got a broken nose. And he failed. But he tried. There's no shame in failing. At least you get in there, you fight like a man. And I thought he gave a really, really good account of himself. UFC San Diego Saturday night. What an epic night of fights. I don't know if you saw it in the co-main event. We had David Onama taking on Nate the Train Landwehr. Holy shit. That was incredible. Not two of the biggest names. Onama's only had a few fights in the UFC, but he's shown a lot of potential. Nate Landwehr, same again. A lot of potential. They put on a fucking barn burner for the ages, going back and forth non-stop. Both guys getting dropped. As the fight progressed, Landwehr was taking over, doing a lot of damage to David Onama. And then halfway through it, like, Landwehr would let him back up to the feet and like go, wow, to the crowd and stuff. It was a sensational night. The atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable. If you were there in San Diego, you know what I'm talking about. Some of the other fights, there was Yasmin Jauregui taking on Lasmin Lucinda, two ladies making their UFC debut. And I thought to myself at that time, I thought, why are two ladies making their UFC debut so high on the card? Well, if you saw the fight, then you know why. Both of them are more than UFC ready. Yasmin Jauregui, my apologies. Yasmin Jauregui, Brandon Moreno trains with her, obviously, the interim flyweight champion. Brandon Moreno says she will be a champ one day. And I'll be honest, when I watched her fights prior to it, when I did the research, I thought, wow, she could be a champion one day. That was a sensational fight. We had Asmat Mirzakhanov taking out Devin Clark in round 3. Priscilla Cachoeira took out Ariane Lipski in round 1. And Gerald Meerchart knocked out Bruno Silva. No, he didn't. Beat him by guillotine choke. What am I saying? Get it together, Bisping. But still, Marlon Chito Vera, the night belonged to him. I'm talking to him later. I'll be interviewing him. I'm dropping that interview on the channel in a couple of days, so stay tuned for that one. But Marlon Chito Vera, I'm telling you right now, this time next year, Marlon Chito Vera will be champion of the world. Make no mistake.